for. And he sees, okay, Jim says, you know what, the only way I can get my job back, Bruce, and to be able to live up to my promise to you is to go off and to do something bad. And I don't want to go off. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And Bruce says, but you need to, maybe you need to do something bad so that in the end you can do something good.
Well, and definitely, you got Bruce right now suffering, with his own personal dilemmas. He has found the cave. With a locked door that he cannot figure out how to get into. So he has decided to blow it up.
Yeah, and it was pretty interesting because once he blows down the door, he finds a note from his father and realizes that the code was pretty easy. It was his name.
Yeah.
Actually. So you see Bruce is like, oops, I never even thought about that.
Yeah, no, and, I pretty much groaned at that because I'm going, it was the most obvious.
I knew it was going to be something obvious. I figured, it's going to probably be like Bruce's birth date or something.
I don't think Batman has a birth date.
Oh, probably not. I don't know. But obviously he's got to have a birthday. But you know what? I love this because you can really see the gears are starting to go. I'm going to be very fascinated to see Bruce's development just this season alone. There's a lot of really interesting stuff here.
Yeah,
that seems to be developing.
Especially Tigress. She definitely makes her mark really early.
Tabitha Gallivan. Yeah, I want to. We need to go back to the very beginning because at the very beginning there is a well-dressed gentleman who goes off and gives this chalice to this psycho wearing armor and stuff named Zardon.
Zardon.
I am Zardon. And then Zardon goes out and he thinks he's going to be completely invincible. And Jim Gordon, ends up, disarming them, arresting them, and he gets sent to Arkham, where we find out that Barbara has been approached by Jerome, and
in the most epic way. I need to stop us here. If they do not make Jerome, the Joker, it is a lost cause, and you have wasted all our time.
I completely agree. Now, what the interesting thing is, I think the development for Jerome this season is going to be really interesting. If you haven't seen this teaser trailer for Jerome, you just honestly, there's some stuff that goes on there that both, to me, screams both Jack Nicholson as well as Heath Ledger.
Absolutely. He is the most, even for his age, one of the most maniacal Jokers I have ever seen.
Absolutely. And I think, whereas, first season we really, felt that the Penguin was, the best developed character. I have a feeling that this season it's going to be Joker. Jerome.
Sorry, Jerome.
We're going to call him Jerome.
We can't call him Joker. DC has refused to acknowledge whether he's Joker or not, which I think is a huge, either gamble or huge genius move, if you really look at it, to hide the identity of a character so highly engrossed with the whole Joker theme.
Absolutely.
The smile, the laugh, the diabolical, the way he talks. Everything screams Joker. And it'll be a huge letdown if they do not make him the Joker. But at the same point, they need that little spark, that excitement, that, that's something new that'll keep people coming in every week. And I think Jerome is that spark.
I think so too. It would be really interesting because what kind of throws me off is, DC has often went off and said that the Joker's real name is Jack Napier. Now, his origin continues to be different, but it seems a name that constantly seems to come up whenever they play around with, the Joker's origins has been Jack Napier. And so to hear them go off and say Jerome, that's,
But, at the same point, though, the Joker is a maniacal liar. He's a sociopath. He's a psychopath.
It's interesting because I think it's in the Line game. I think I can't remember which story, but he goes off and he likes to.
You mean the Killing Joke?
The Killing Joke. Thank you. He goes off and he likes to go off and he says, as far as his origin story goes, he likes it to be multiple choice.
Yeah, and I agree. But...
And that's kind of the way they played it off with Heath Ledger in in the Dark Knight, because he goes off and he explains 2 or 3 different ways how his cheeks got scarred.
Which I think is the perfect way to do it. But we are going to take a quick music break, and we were going to come back with more Gotham, more debate, and more us. Welcome back, everyone. It's the All Gotham, All Day, All Captain Fizz and Mask Guys show.
Yeehaw!
So yeah, definitely, we're going to continue talking about Gotham. The huge possible emergence of, I think, the front runner to definitely be Joker on Gotham. But it definitely, this is definitely going to be a huge battle royale between all the villains this season. It's going to be phenomenal.
I think it's very interesting because we don't know a whole lot about some of these characters. Again, Barbara ends up hooking up with this guy named Sionis, I think he went by, who was apparently he's this billionaire who went off and killed a bunch of people on his plane.
Yeah, on his boat or his yacht in the pool.
Yacht. Oh, yacht in the pool. Okay.
But don't worry, Barbara fans, he is now gone.
He is absolutely gone. So what was interesting to me is, of course, they kind of teased, at the beginning, this well-dressed person that I brought up earlier. His name is Theo Gallivan, and of course, Tigress, as you brought up, is his sister Tabitha. And what we see is that the real reason that Zardon was given this chalice of drink was so that he would be sent to Gotham
to unleash the blue puff of smoke,
which goes off and knocks out all these villains that are sitting around the table. So when they come to, Barbara and Sionis and Jerome and a couple others that will get better descriptions and better backstories in episode 2, they have been brought to the Gallivan's place and have been pretty much told, we want you guys working with us.
Yeah, and these people are basically, they're murderers, they're rapists, they're cannibals.
Yeah.
These are the biggest, baddest, roughest baddies you can think of. And honestly, I'm a huge Harley Quinn fan, but I have this funny feeling this year, Harley Quinn's going to be second fiddle to all these characters on Gotham.
I think it's really interesting, just the development. I went off and watched, this teaser trailer that they went off and did, just as I came in to the studio today with you. And I thought this was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, definitely. You really see the whole maniacal, not just Jerome, Barbara, but all of them, and the fact that none of them are afraid to get dirty. None of them are really afraid to die. They just want to have fun. They want to kill, and they want to just blow stuff up.
So I guess this kind of brings us to the future. At the end of the episode, we find out that Penguin and Victor pretty much force Commissioner Loeb to go off and to retire and to...
About dang time.
And to reinstate Jim Gordon to the police force. Jim, of course, is now a detective once more. And the former captain, Essence, is now become the commissioner. And this is going to bring in... Michael Chiklis is coming in now to play the new captain. And I'll be kind of interested to see how... Chiklis is going to be brought in. He's very, he's played police officers in several different shows.
I do have to point out that technically, former Commissioner Loeb did not reinstate Gordon.
Well,
it was the new commissioner.
It was commissioner
reinstated him.
Yes, and made him a detective once again. And I thought this was, pretty interesting developments here. I thought, Commissioner Loeb was a really good, villain in the ways.
Yeah, I
But,
I definitely don't think this is the end of him. I do believe we are going to see more of him. In what caliber? Who knows?
Who knows? The guy won't have any power anymore. So I'm just wondering, how much more they can actually go with this character.
Fear has power.
And yes, but Penguin, pretty much, was willing to get Victor to kill Loeb because he knew Loeb hated Gordon. So I don't see how.
The thing though is, that plays with the whole fear is power. I never really got the impression that they were going to kill him. I had a feeling right from the beginning that Commissioner was going to pretty much abide with anything the Penguin said just to save his own skin.
I agree.
I never got that feeling, but
who knows?
I would have liked to see it.
But I'm kind of wondering now because here we are. We got Penguin, who's now apparently in charge of the city, but now we got the
for now.
But it's he's got this whole thing over Gordon. Gordon had to go off and collect the money for him so that to get his end of the bargain here, to get his job back and to get Loeb kicked out of Commissioner. But now Penguin's got this this murder over Gordon, so if he ever needs something from Gordon, he can blackmail him for this.
See, technically no, because if you go back to what Penguin's own words are, is we're even.
He goes off and he says that with a smirk, though. So.
But when it comes to the Penguin and Gordon, the relationship and friendship that they have, I do believe is a little bit more honest than Penguin's relationship with a lot of his other cohorts or whatever you want to call them. It's more honest, it's more trusting. And I definitely think he's more true to his word for Gordon than he is anyone else.
And I don't know about that. I mean, just the fact, this is a guy who is one of and has lied to the faces of some of the most powerful people in Gotham. And has completely manipulated everyone.
But if you really look at it, with Gordon, he really hasn't lied to Gordon. He's been pretty straightforward from day one. He's been basically thankful that Gordon spared his life.
He went off and manipulated that whole situation. He's the one who told Falcone. He says, "Hey, I am going to become your snitch. Hey, if you're going to have anybody kill me, get it to be Jim Gordon because there's a chance that Jim Gordon is going to go off and let me live."
Yeah, but still. When it comes to cops, you don't actually fully know that a cop is going to do exactly what you want. We all know that, and especially in Gotham, you never know. You look at some of the cops out there, you think they're straightforward, and then next thing you know, they're the most crooked people out there. So, Gotham is one of these really strange worlds. Now, I personally love it. Every week I delve into it. It's like a whole new, pretty much time zone, everything.
I'm kind of curious to see what's going to go on here because I really think at some point Penguin is going to come to Jim for help, particularly with the Galavans, because they have just opened up Pandora's box with, this group, was it the Misfits? Is that?
No, the Maniacs.
The Maniacs, thank you. And, I think at some point, Penguin's going to realize that he is losing control. In fact, the guy that Gordon goes off and goes to collect, the money from goes off and says Penguin won't be in power for a year. And I really have a feeling that with the Galavans in town in trying their master plan, which is starting to come together, I really have a feeling that Penguin may very well lose power in Gotham.
And I agree. My biggest question though is how long are they going to have Tigress and Theo on the TV show? Is it going to be like Fish Mooney, or is this going to be a very, couple seasons, going to be, a long-running thing? That's my interesting question on this.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, Tabitha, of course, eventually becomes Tigress, so we know she's going to stick around for a while. I don't know so much about Theo. Theo's definitely the mastermind behind all this, and Tabitha seems to be more of the enforcer. And, is definitely very twisted, especially with the way that she goes off and kills Sionis off at the end of the episode, where she goes
Yeah.
off and starts off with the